According to Jim Rohn, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. If you improve the quality of relationships you have, you improve your life. In this video today, I'm going to show you 3 types of relationship that can make or break you. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this ride with me. In case you are just joining, consider subscribing so that you can be constantly inspired, motivated to awaken the giant within you. Lifeline with Comfort is a program specially designed to equip, empower, inspire, and motivate you to awaken the giant within you. 3 types of relationships that can make or break you is our topic today. Now, the number 1 relationship I looked at was the kiss and betray kind of relationship. You say, what do you mean, Comfort? Which is the kiss and betray kind of relationship? There was this character in the Bible. His name was Judas. Judas was one of the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ. What did that mean? That means Judas was quite close to Jesus in the 3.5 years Jesus spent on earth doing his ministry. They were quite close. It meant that Judas knew when he was going to bed. He knew when he was going to pray. He knew when he was going healing the sick. Judas was very close to him. For Judas to be one of the 12, Judas was probably a good person. But there's this spirit that is very prevalent with Judases. And that spirit is what I'm going to talk about today. There are relationships where the person is like a Judas. Oh, they kiss you when they have to. They are all around you. They cheer you. They laugh with you. They play with you. But then when you're not there, they take 30 pieces of silver and betray you. Now, you know the sad thing about those kind of relationships or those kind of people is what they took to betray you is not even valuable to them because they can do without it. How do I know? Judas could do without the 30 pieces. Because he felt so bad that he had betrayed his friend Jesus, he went and hung himself. So Judas is at the type that what they're even taking in exchange of you or betraying you is nothing too much. It's nothing great. But then they betray you. Now there's somebody I love so much, my bulldog. He said something. He said an enemy is anyone that weakens your influence, I beg your pardon, in your absence. Those are Judases. So when you're not, most times they don't betray you. Judas says something. He said, once I kiss, anyone I kiss, that is the master. That is the one you're looking for. You can now take it. And as soon as he got to Gethsemane, he kissed Jesus by his cheek. So Judases are those that kiss you, but they've already made a plot to sell you for 30 pieces of silver. And for you to advance this year, for you to awake the giant within you, must recognize Judases in your relationship. And what do? Probably not walk into the next phase with them. That's one of the 3 kinds of people. The second kind of person, I wrote it as condition-based relationship. And I'll use another character in the Bible, which was Peter. Peter loved the master so well. Peter did all, in fact, Peter was one of the closest 3 Jesus had. And Peter understood the heart of the master. How do I know? There was a time there was an argument. Oh, people felt Jesus was this, Jesus was that. And Jesus looked at Peter and said, and the disciples said, what do you guys think I am? And Peter got the answer. He said, thou art the Son of God. Thou art the Son of God. Peter got the answer. You see, so he was very close to Jesus. He understood the heart of Jesus. He understood what Jesus was about. But guess what? The weight of Jesus' calling was too heavy for Peter. So at some point, there was a betrayal. At some point, more like a denial, not a betrayal. There was a denial. Now, Peters are the people that, oh my goodness, when you're there especially, they can walk on the waters when you're in charge. I mean, when you're there, they can walk on the waters with you. When Jesus said, beaded him and said, come, come, he did. He walked on the water. They can't walk on the water with you. But sometimes they do not understand the cost of your calling. So they can't go further with you. Your calling is costly, is expensive. What God has asked you to do is important. So, but they don't know the cost. So most times it's not their fault. They don't know the cost of your calling. And then they can't go the long haul with you. They know how to go up high the mountain with you when you're there pulling them along. But when it's time to go to the valley, they really can't, because they don't know the cost of your calling. Peter did not know the cost of the call of Jesus. So when it came to the time, Jesus was saying, I'm going to, this is where I'm going to, this is what I'm going to do. And say, I would do anything for you. I would die for you. Those kind of friends. I would die for you. Oh, I can be there for you. But when the chips are down, you can't see them. It's not their fault. They just have the Peter spirit. And then the third kind of friends or relationship I looked at was loyal to your crown. So I call them the loyal to your crown type of relationship. And I used Jonathan. I thought of Jonathan and David. That's one story that intrigues me in the scripture, because Jonathan was the son of the king. And David's popularity, David's killing of Goliath and all that was going to give David Jonathan's crown. But Jonathan was so loyal to the friendship and the relationship that it didn't matter to him. It just didn't matter. Now, not that he didn't have value for the crown, but he knew that David was called. David was anointed. So what did he do? He threw his weight behind David. As a matter of fact, if you have 1, 2, 3 friends that can be like Jonathan around you, around your destiny, then you are the happiest person on earth. Jonathan was so loyal. Guess what? The king, Saul, wanted to kill David. The king did not like David, but Jonathan was loyal to the relationship. The Bible said something, and it was very interesting to me. It said, Jonathan loved David like he loved himself. And that is in alignment with what the Bible said, love your neighbor as yourself. I like to add this at this junction, that I am an advocate of everyone loving themselves effectively enough to love others. You can't transfer what you don't have. You can't give what you don't have. If you don't love yourself, honestly, you cannot. In fact, I run away from people that don't love themselves, because I know somehow they can't effectively love me. You must love yourself. You must admire yourself. You must love yourself. So Jonathan, the Bible said, loved David like he loved himself. And that is the third level of friendship, which I call loyal to your crown. He loved him, pushed him, cheered him on enough for him to be able to get the crown. And guess what? In return, even if Jonathan did not live to enjoy seeing his best friend as the king David himself did something that showed that this relationship was a mutual and not a parasitic one. What did David do? David asked and said, is there no one in the house of Jonathan that I might show him mercy? And Mephibosheth was found from Lodebar, and he was brought and presented to the king. And what the king could not do for Jonathan in the physical, he did for his son. He did for his seed. The third category of friends are those that even when you're not there, they are loyal behind your back. They love you like they love themselves. They love your children like they love themselves. They love your calling like they love their own. They understand the weight of your calling. They're not undermining it. They're not saying it's not a big deal, everyone is doing it. No, they appreciate who you are, what you're about. Those are Jonathans. And for you to move from the phase you are to the next phase, for the giant within you to be awakened, guess what? You must surround yourself with Jonathans. Like Jim Rohn said, you are an average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. There's something a friend of mine used to say, Reverend Isaiah. He says, you cannot put a square head in a circle. You cannot force a Judas to begin to act like a Jonathan. It can't work. He's just Judas. And guess what? There's an assignment he has in your life. Unfortunately, there's an assignment. Because what Judas do at the end of the day, no matter how much no matter what they plot, no matter what they do, they usually hang themselves. That means they put themselves in trouble. So they gossiped about you, you weren't there, but somehow they get into trouble. That same mouth puts them in trouble. They said everything and anything they want to say about you, and somehow they get into the web they created for you. Somehow, but you can't force a Judas to become a Jonathan. You are fortunate if you have a Jonathan. You are most fortunate. I like to say something very clearly that I wrote down. Be careful of high maintenance friends. I was thinking about that. And what are high maintenance friends? There are people like Judas. There are people like Judas. Why do I say they are high maintenance? They take what they say or what they say about you to regions, to places. They're all over the place in a bid to betray you. Not understanding that your call is costly. Not understanding that your call is important. Not understanding that, yes, you might be at a very small stage right now. You may be at the beginning of your move right now. But it's very important to you. You are doing some skits that look very funny and look very unprofessional and all that. But it is the beginning, stepping stone to the great place you're going to. And so you're not there to entertain people that want to bring it down. People that don't even appreciate what you're doing now, because you're not a superstar now. Someday, God will announce you. So you're not there to have people that will not push you forth, that will not cheer you on. I did a video a couple of weeks ago and it was about cheering others on. I'll put the link below so that you can have a watch. But guess what? You must cheer your friends on if you are a Jonathan around them. And if you are a David. I was thinking about it when I was preparing for this, and it occurred to me that we can be these three to people also. You can be a Judas. I can possibly be a Judas to someone. Betray them. They tell you something, go around, say it. I said that one of the most expensive price I pay for being a pastor is confidentiality. It is very expensive because sometimes you want to talk about it, but you can't. You can't. So there are times that possible you are a Judas to someone. I know sometimes when we're talking about things like this, you just keep thinking, oh, Judas, oh, there's somebody I know that was a Judas to me. You could be a Judas to somebody. Oh, there's this real talk here. And you could be a Judas to somebody. So quit being a Judas to someone and quit being a Peter. You're there when it's beautiful, and then when it looks ugly, you're out of the way. And then try to be a Jonathan. Try to be a Jonathan. Be loyal to friendship. You know what? When I was looking at the life of Jonathan and David, I realized that it was a covenant friendship. And that's one word I don't use easily because I understand the meaning of covenant. It was a covenant friendship. It meant that no matter the circumstance, Jonathan will not do what Peter did to David. No matter the circumstance, Jonathan will not do what Judas did to Jesus. So that is the level, the kind of relationship that we strive to have. Now, I've said a lot about relationships, but I want to say one of the greatest things God has done for me in my life is great relationships. I've been privileged to have very, very great friends. I don't know if you have had the privilege of having great friends, but if you do, make a comment below, tag your friends. Tell them, thank you for being a good friend to me. Thank you for being a Jonathan to me. Thank you for holding my hands. Thank you for cheering me on. Thank you for being that friend that adds value to me. I just want you to appreciate somebody that has been that to you. And what happens to Judas? You slide out of the relationship gently. Because at the face you may be, you don't need exactly that in your life. But guess what? Everyone that you come across is there for a purpose. Appreciate everyone, but know who should be in your circle part time. Know who should be in your circle part time. There's an adage in my language. There's a saying in my language that says you cannot tie two trees together. That means two sticks. You can't tie them. You can't force them. So what does that mean? You can't force relationships. Ensure that you are enjoying the relationship. Ensure that it's not parasitic. ensure that it's a symbiotic relationship, that is not parasitic, that is not weighing you down, that is not a high maintenance relationship. High maintenance is the one that the person calls you or comes around you, is whining and whining and whining and whining, and it's all about them and how the world is on their shoulder. It's just all about them. They don't even have time to listen to your problems. They don't even have time to share with you. They don't even have time to hold you up and pray with you. That's high maintenance friendship. You may not be at the point that you can manage that, and you could be at the point where you can manage that. In all you do, make sure you glorify God. Make sure it pleases God. Make sure you yourself, you're an addition to someone's life, an addition to someone's destiny. The Lord bless you mightily and make his face to shine upon you. Like I said earlier, consider subscribing. Click the notification button. That's quite important, because as soon as I load my video, as soon as I put it up, you can get alerted that there's a video up. And I want to thank all the subscribers. I have 100 subscribers as at today, March 2019. So I am very grateful for all of you. Thank you. And the Lord bless you. Make his face to shine